Hey there, and welcome back to another Miraculous Ladybug Season 2 Retrospective review, where I go through old episodes of Miraculous I never got around to making a review on and give my thoughts. So, as I said, we're going through Season 2 right now, which brings us to the episode Gigantitan. And I'll be honest, it's an episode that I really didn't remember all that much about. Before I actually sat down to watch this thing, I gave it a quick Google search just to try to jog the memory, and I was greeted by that horrific giant baby. Yes, that's right, the main villain of this episode is a giant baby. I don't like to be too overly harsh on the writing, but coming into this, I was bracing myself for what I believe to be one of the worst episodes in Miraculous history. And I will admit, after having sat down to watch it, that I was wrong about it. But this episode, on the surface of it all, is one that just makes you sit there and think, what am I doing here? What choices have I made that have led my life to this moment? It just looked so overly goofy and stupid. This giant baby, so cursed. Again, I did change my tune by the end of the episode, but at first I feared it was going to be one tough slog. I should never have doubted our Lord and Saviour Season 2. Okay, so there's nothing much else to say as a prelude, so let's just jump right into the story, shall we? The episode opens with all the girls crowded into Marinette's room to partake in the grand plan cooked up by Alia and Marinette that's going to ensure that Marinette gets a date with Adrian. And it's most certainly 100% guaranteed to work this time, guys. Trust me. Credit where credit's due. Stalker vibes aside, with knowing Adrian's exact schedule of modelling down to where his driver parks, and what his habits are in regards to his phone, this plan's actually rather clever. Well, it could be clever, if it wasn't so needlessly overcomplicated and risky. The plan relies on so many different moving parts, and if even one of them doesn't work as intended, then it's well and truly game over. First of all, the girls and Adrian are all given super secret flower-based nicknames, which causes confusion because Rose's nickname is not Rose, but Tulip instead, with the Rose call sign being given to Julika. And already that has me side-eyeing this plan. When in doubt, kiss. K-I-S-S. Keep it simple, stupid. But let's get back to the plan. The idea is an ambush of sorts. Julika's going to illegally set up a fake no parking sign and wheel it over to the area where poor old Gorilla's parked and waiting for Adrian, whilst Milen calls over the police to move Gorilla along. By the way, the sign is going to be wheeled around on a cart, so it's going to be pretty obviously fake, you'd think. So already, it's a high-risk plan. It relies on chance and a stupid police officer being present. After Gorilla goes to find a spot, Adrian will appear, and since he has no phone, he has no way to figure out what's going on. No way to contact home. Luckily for him, Marinette's there and she sweeps him off on a date. And they go to Andre's for ice cream and there's rose petals and it's romantic and it's true love. Hooray! Of course, we know that there's no chance that this plan has any hope for success because Marinette's just wholly unable to speak to Adrian at all. She has the yips, the jitters, and in essence, no hope whatsoever at pulling this off. It makes me laugh that they put so much effort into crafting this hugely convoluted plan that requires such precision to pull off, but that it's doomed to fail from the get-go. At that point, why even bother? I mean, she is clearly delusional, telling them all about how this time it's going to be different, guys, trust me. But still, maybe take baby steps. Try talking to him at school without word vomiting all over the poor boy. No? You're going to do it anyway and just rush in with no caution whatsoever. Fair play. Now it's time to see this plan get put into action, as we cut over to the hour of the photo shoot, where Adrian's with that walking stereotype who's apparently the only photographer in Paris, taking modelling shots for serious fashion companies, whilst also being the guy who does the school photos. He doesn't even seem to have an assistant or anything. My God, what a workhorse. So it's here that we get our first glimpse of the devil baby August, who will later be transformed into Gigantitan. This kid unsettles me. He's freaky, he looks weird, he has this shrill voice that's like a demented Elmo. It's Nightmare on Sesame Street up in here. The kid begins ranting about getting a lollipop and he pretty much doesn't shut the hell up about it for the rest of the episode. Whenever you think he's done, suddenly you hear in this shrill voice in the distance, "Lollipop! Lollipop! Lollipop! Shut up!" Also, what the hell is Adrian actually modelling for? The photographer said he needed a lollipop to complete the look, but what look? He's wearing the same clothes as he always wears. Is this for a cologne or something? All of that was just the preamble though, because now the plan actually starts to kick into gear. The girls are all getting really into their flower spy roleplay, and it seems like it's going to be a slam dunk success story, only for things to start to go wrong. I mean, what the hell is this? How unlucky do you have to be for the wheel of the trolley to get stuck in that tiny hole in the manhole cover? So it looks like it's all about to go wrong, as Milen needs to help her hold up this metal sign that either Marinette stole or made from scratch. Julika's thus the one who has to go and alert the cops, but she's a mumbler to the extreme, and so it almost doesn't happen. But in the end, despite multiple near disasters and miscommunications from their stupid nicknames, they manage to get rid of Gorilla. And Marinette even gets to play the part of Good Samaritan and helps that mum with her devil baby. Now that is a face only a mother could love. But like I said, it's all going according to plan, and it looks like Adrian's going to be stranded with no way to contact home or to get a ride, and he'll have no choice but to go with Marinette when she asks him to. Ha ha ha! If it sounds creepy when you say it like that, it's because it is. However, there is one thing the girl simply didn't account for, and that is the total lack of shits to give that Gorilla has. The dude simply returns to his original car spot when he's unable to find a new one, and he simply cops 3 parking tickets on the chin, which of course does not improve his mood and leaves him vulnerable to one of Gabe's Akumas. I have to ask as well, does Gabe just not even care slightly about his son?
I have a son?
Oh, my son's driver and bodyguard is feeling so angry that I can possess him and use him to endanger nearby people until Ladybug and Cat Noir turn up and he can take their Miraculouses. Does it not cross his mind that Adrian could be put in danger by this? Come on, Gabe. Use the brain. Smooth as it may be. Luckily for Gorilla though, today is his lucky day, as despite his rage, as soon as he sees Adrian, it's all suddenly worth it and everything's okay. Now this is father figure material. I mean, it's just so sweet and wholesome. Gorilla is underrated. The show pushes Natalie as Adrian's secondary parental figure, but from what I've seen, it's actually this guy. So who else is there to akumatize, thinks the little butterfly? Why, there's this spawn of Satan over here screaming for a lollipop. Hell, I'm surprised the mum didn't end up getting akumatized because she looks well and truly done. Of course, this is the part of the episode where Gabe, knowing that a literal baby would have no chance of comprehending his mission to get the Miraculouses, and possesses a very limited way to communicate with Hawkmoth, well, this is where rational thought should kick in, and he'd cancel the Akuma and call the whole plan off. Try again another day. But Gabe is the mayor of Smooth Brain City, and if a terrible idea is to be had, by Jove, it's gonna come out of the polished grey matter of one Mr. Gabriel Agreste, god damn it. What could be better than a baby throwing a giant temper tantrum, he asks. Oh, I don't know, Gabe. Maybe somebody with some complex thought and comprehension skills. He doesn't even try to use the kid's desire for a lollipop to his advantage. He should constantly, throughout the episode, be reminding this kid that if he gets him the Miraculouses, or rather if he brings him the little kitty and the very naughty Ladybug, then in exchange, he'll give him the best lollipop ever. I should be Hawkmoth, I swear to God. As soon as this kid calls him Hawk Moo, it's time to abort the mission and go to bed. But instead, he goes on and powers Elmo up into Gigantitan. I gotta say, whilst he is creepy looking in his face and his voice is very annoying, the costume is cute as hell, and those cute little connected boots he wears with the onesie, just yes. So, our big baby transforms and samples a few delicacies in his quest to find a lollipop. First, tasting a bronze statue, which understandably tastes like shit. We've all been there. And look at all of that drool! Ugh! He then grabs Gorilla and gives him a try. Poor bastard, look at the state of him! He gets drooled on by a big baby and then just thrown away. This fall would have killed him, by the way, so lucky he landed in a tree. Terrible way to go, drooled on and kasplattered by a giant baby. Adrian sneaks off to go transform into Cat Noir and arrives just in time to save Alia and the girls from the big baby, as they'd returned after escaping the danger to try to find Marinette. As if they would have been able to do anything against this baby anyway. Big Baby keeps channeling demented Elmo as he cries out for the kitty, and begins to chase Cat Noir around, who's decided to lead him to the river, as there's less dangers for him, and for people over that way. Of course, Cat Noir gets caught by this baby somehow. All episode, this kid has been super slow, except for when the heroes need to get pummeled to extend the length of the episode. There's no chance a baby was going to be coordinated enough to get Cat Noir so easily, but oh well. Sometimes you have to put your finger on the scales for the sake of the story. So they struggle to get on his arm to steal his bracelet, and so they decide that penning him up in the Eiffel Tower is the smart play. They can baby him until he falls asleep. This is actually a good plan as well, because it's not like they're going to be able to fight a baby. Talk about bad press. Every news reporter in the world would be saying, Ladybug and Cat Noir, beat up baby, more at 5. And once that's out there, it's out there for good. They eventually manage to get him there, but it takes some finagling, and they pen him in, and all the while Gabe is just raging back at home because somehow he didn't manage to predict that this was going to happen when he allowed a baby to be akumatized. I don't understand this man sometimes, but honestly, it's very funny. Episode highlight. This whole episode is very much a fever dream, but an enjoyable one. Gigantitan is now fenced inside his playpen, but instead of doing any of the things that they said they were going to do to calm him down and get him to fall asleep, they just let him get more and more upset, and he starts ripping down the Eiffel Tower. And instead of calming him, they jump straight to trying to destroy the bracelet. I mean, Cat Noir should have gotten in there with him and started playing with the car or something, I don't know, start singing! Calm the baby! Cat Noir gets launched all the way onto Andre's ice cream car, where he attempts to steal an ice cream, but only ends up destroying it because he grabbed it with his cataclysm hand. So, he's wasted his power, but the trade-off is that he screwed over the show's most annoying character. Sounds like a good trade-off to me. The kid has by this point knocked over the Eiffel Tower and surely killed a lot of people that wouldn't have had time to escape or might have been hit by the fall of this massive structure. Bad, baby! You're a very naughty boy, bad! Speaking of which, he tries to eat Ladybug, who's saved by the girls on that cart thingy with the fake street sign as a pretend lollipop, so the baby chases them. And all the while, Ladybug's almost killed by falling debris, and Gabe is still raging at home because once again, this is a baby. And the baby is doing nothing that he tells him to. Cat Noir returns with almost no time left on his ring, as for some reason, despite having cheese on his person, which we saw earlier in the episode, he doesn't choose to detransform and feed Plague to power him back up and recharge his power. The aggressed Smooth Brain strikes again, and the two work together to save the girls, whom the baby's now chasing, by using a lucky charm to wrap Ladybug up as the pretend lollipop, which lets her get close enough to get his bracelet and cleanse the Akuma. Luckily, Cat Noir's standing by to catch the baby after everything's been reversed, because otherwise... Ooh. Also, I just want to reiterate one last time, this baby's voice is horrific. Why did they give it a scary Muppet voice? Baby goes back to mum, and then it's Marinette's time to shine, only for her to crash and burn, failing to ask Adrian out, as is tradition, but then denying him giving her a ride home, as she babbles about how she has some coleslaw she needs to eat. Bad luck. Oh, and of course Gabe swearing revenge and acting like he ever had a chance here, as if he didn't expect a 1-year-old to be able to outplay 2 teenagers. And that's the end of the episode. This one was really fun. Something different, something fresh, and really funny. Season 2. I miss you. And so with all that being said, these have just been my opinions, and I'd like to hear yours. What did you think? You like it? Hate it? I'm curious for your thoughts, so make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and let me know.